Good?
Good.
All right.
Howdy, Derek.
Yeah.
Hey, when you guys are able to kind of move Chris around the formation and kind of use him on all these different parts of the field, what does that allow you to do with him? And hey, what does that bring to the offense?
Yeah, he's a very versatile player. He can run. We talked about it all offseason. I was really impressed, not with just the speed, but his ability to be able to move and run different things. And he's a special player that you can do certain things with and use as a, you never want to say decoy, but someone to bring attention. He's also someone you can do certain things with and know that he's getting the ball, And the fact that he'll, do the dirty work, he'll block, he'll, do all those things. The more selfless our guys can be, and he's, premier example of that is he'll do anything and everything to make sure to help us win, and I think it helps us win.
And were you, especially that first one you had him and running out of the backfield, you had him lined up on Harold Landry.
Yeah.
I imagine you take that just about every time, getting those kind of matchups.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a great job by Pete and RC and our staff getting, matchups and, different things like that. And I'm sure, teams will have to prepare and plan for that kind of stuff now, and, is the end going to come upfield and hit him now? Is they, and you just try and think outside the box from our point of view, and what could teams do to try and stop that, and how can we, benefit from that?
Derek, I know you guys probably feel like you left a few points on the field. But what were some of the things that were easily correctable to make sure that you score the way you want to?
Yeah, most of the time, the more you get to know me too, it may get frustrating, but I'll keep most of it in house. That we know certain things, and I can tell you that there were things that we talked about, and I always talk about myself. There's a couple plays there where I left points on the field, and we talked about it after the game. And I think it's just getting, the decision making, the timing, all those things that each position has to make as offense. All 11 guys have to do the right thing for a play to work. And on defense, typically, if you have a good pass rush and someone, but it can work out. So us as an offense, I think executing at such a high level is going to take all 11 guys doing the right thing every single time, and I think that'll help us, with scoring touchdowns and things like that.
I know protection is often a combined effort with the offensive line and the quarterback. What did y'all talk about after the game and looking ahead to Carolina?
Yeah, we know going into this game, they have a great rush. They have guys that can perform inside, on both edges, everywhere. The blitzes. They got great scheme, great defense coordinator, and we know the problems it presents to us, and hopefully a lot of it was first half stuff, and we were able to come back in the second half and do some things well, and do some things right. But there's still things that, again, in house that we know we want to clean up and do certain things, and I'll always be hard on myself. Could I have gotten that out? Could I have stepped this way and done this, and all that kind of stuff too.
Does it help at all having going up against their DC's defense a couple times last year? So he came over from Denver.
Yeah. It helps, but also he has, different players. He can put them in different spots. A lot of these guys that come from, that tree, have different multiple things that they can do to cause problems in the run game. They have different things they can do to cause problems, in the pass game and your protection plan, and keeping your back in and things like that. And they do a great job. And so there's some similarities. There's some carryover. But every game I ever play, yes, there's similarities. But even if you play them, it's always chest moves. Always those things. So hopefully your rules take care of a lot of things, and your preparation and your experience can help as well with some of that stuff.
Derek, what allowed you to have as much kind of faith and confidence in Rashid as you had after kind of being robbed of some time to work with him this offseason?
Yeah, I think just the times that he was out there, he proved over and over again the kind of competitor that he is. Obviously the talent, we all see the talent, but the kind of competitor, and the guy that when the game is on the line, or you need someone to make a play, you trust guys that are tough, you trust guys that are selfless. They'll do whatever it takes for the team. If we asked Rashid right there to come in and nudge the defensive end, and let Chris go run that ball, he would have done it with everything in him, And when you have guys like that, that's going to help us win, And it just, guys making that decision, what's important to you, and he shows every day that winning is important to him, and you can just feel that off of him. And I've been around guys like that where we've had a lot of name guys, and then it's that one guy that you haven't heard too much about that always would make that play. It's just because he showed time and time after again that he was a team guy and that he wanted to make that play, and he'd do whatever the coach asked him or whatever the quarterback asked him.
Hey, Derek, I don't know if you've seen the package really kind of broke down that last moment there with that go route. What made you so confident in running the go in that scenario?
A lot of different things. I don't want to get too much into what my mind was thinking. Scenario. Just talking, football is like, they obviously if we run the ball, they can call their timeout. If we throw something short, they think completion. It's a risky thing to take a shot there. It is, because they could keep a timeout in their pocket. They can have more time on the clock because the clock's not running. All those things that they can go through your head, and there's a lot more that went into it, but just the confidence I have in Rashid and the confidence that the coaches showed in us was really cool to me.
Did you see the way it was presented on NFL films?
I did, yeah.
And when you told Sheed freaking run, what exactly were you trying to get across there? I'm kidding, but seriously, like, what? That should be unspoken, right? Like, why did you feel the need to say that in that way at that time?
Well, yeah, there's, on the play, there's different reads. I could have gone to 4 other options, and past receivers that I've played with have always laughed at me, because there's times where I'll look at them and, run, I need you. And sometimes it is just to get a clear out, but I want them to think they're getting the ball so it looks real, and so I do say those things sometimes, but I do it to, hey, I need you here, and you may not get it, right? If they end up covering it or they end up doubling, like, I'm not throwing it, I'm going to go to the next read, but I just wanted to alert him that, and he's not a guy that I need to alert to run, because that's what he does, but I just wanted to make sure that he knew that this could be his moment.
And Derek, I know Frank spoke really glowingly about you yesterday. I think you met with them in the offseason.
Yeah.
And there was a time when they before they considered trading up for this, that you met with them as a free agent. Just maybe things work out how they're supposed to, but just how did that go, and how maybe real was you becoming a Carolina Panther and possibly playing for him?
Yeah, well, I didn't take any meeting with anybody that I didn't think was real. And again, I was gaining all of my information. They were gaining all of theirs, just like everyone that I met with was. And it was very, very real. Coach Reich knows how I feel about him. And I know how he feels about me. And the feelings are mutual, and the respect is there, and all those things, and it's great. And they make business decisions. I have to make a business decision, and there's so many moving parts, while other teams are trying to make moving part business decisions. So there was a lot that went into it. Maybe we talk about it sometime, but yeah, it was a real possibility. Absolutely. Just the way things worked out, ended up being here, and this is where, my wife and I decided to be and wanted to be.
How much do you look forward to these Monday night games?
I love them. I mean, you grow up as a kid. I mean, I know it is my 10th year, but I still think of when I was a kid, like some of the first Monday night football games I would watch, even as I got older, watching Michael Vick. I remember them putting that, line down on the field, and he's running around. I'm jumping on my couch thinking I'm Michael Vick. I never ran a 4.3, but I like to pretend that I could. I just remember watching Dion, returning punts, interceptions, all these things. I mean, you have so many memories. Like someday, like, man, I just want to be out there. And then the fact that you get to do it, you never want to. I don't want to say it like loses anything, because it's still Monday night. But as the years go on, if you're just so focused on everything else, you forget how cool it is that you get to do that. And so, for me, every chance I get to play on a primetime game, I always take a second to be, this is some of the stuff I dreamed of as a kid. This is pretty cool. And so you always want to prepare your best, make sure you put your best foot forward.
You talked about playing against Peyton when you were young. I mean, I guess him giving you words of advice and such. Do you tell Bryce anything before, after maybe not before, but after the game, or kind of just, a young player that just got into this league?
There's a couple young guys that I helped throughout the league, and if they want to talk about it, they can talk about it. Bryce is another guy that I think the world of, and I think he's going to be great. If he ever wanted help, obviously I would help him. Not too much, while we're rivals and things like that. But there are a few quarterbacks in the league, young guys that have reached out at different times in their careers, and that I've talked to, and just similar situations, scenarios, advice, whatever. I'm an open book to anybody, and so. But when we're competing against each other, we're still trying to beat them.
How many games did you just catch of him in Alabama and just gotten to watch him? Did you get to see a couple of them, just kind of have an initial impression of him?
Yeah, because they're always at the end of the year. Alabama's always winning. So you get to watch those games. So you just love. What I love is watching his teammates and how they feel about him. How they rallied around him. Very accurate. If you're, you're never not the first pick for a reason. Like he obviously has all the talent in the world, and he's going to continue to grow. He's going to be a heck of a player in our league. I can't wait to watch that maturation process and all those things and have our battles and stuff like that. But I think the world of him, and I wish him the best, except when he plays us.
Derek, this is our first time around you, but I'm sure you saw a lot of people talking about like you bulking up, including your brothers. Was that done like with a purpose in mind, like to help your game in some way?
Yeah, I got a 4-year-old little boy that likes to test me, so I know he's going to be 18 someday. No, no. I mean, this off season, I had a couple weeks extra of free time, and so all I did was work out this off season. I was running a lot, I was working out a lot, just making sure that if I got an opportunity somewhere else, I was ready. And was it a conscious effort? I mean, yeah, absolutely. I wanted to be in the best shape of my life wherever I showed up, and hopefully I am.
So your off season was like a Rocky montage, though.
Yeah, we have this in Bakersfield. We have this. We call it the barn, and we like to say that that's our Rocky place to go work out. So it's a lot of old weights, some rust. You gotta get a shot or two if you go work out there and get a cut. But yeah, I mean, we have a place like that we like to get our work done.
Derek, your red zone results or red zone performance was a popular critique that came up when we did our research on you. I can't remember if we ever asked you about it, but what has been your own evaluation of whether that's an area of your game you've had to improve or anything you've tried to?
I got to be honest with you, I'm always trying to improve at everything.
Sure.
I've thrown a lot of touchdowns in the red zone. I've also had mistakes in the red zone. And I do my best to make the best decision every play. Even this past week, think of guys driving a ball, you throw it away, and no matter what decision I make, nowadays everyone hits pause, and they critique for the next 2 days on what happened in a split second. And that's the life that we live, and that's okay. I understand that. But for me, I try my best to make the best decision all the time. And I'm sure there'll be a play in my life again in the red zone that I may mess up, but I'm sure there's going to be plenty where we throw a touchdown.
No, well, I asked because, I mean, that's natural to think. It's just a different part of the field, and you're going to have pluses and minuses, everyone.
Yeah.
That is not an area where you have identified as something you've tried that's been a hump for you to get over or anything like that?
Every play is different. Every game is different. Every decision I make is different based on the scenario. Sure, maybe there's one where someone's there, but they're in the headset, like, hey, we got points here, just be smart. Okay, it's tight, throw it away, we got points. Sometimes you make a bad decision, sometimes you make good decisions. All that stuff comes up. Sometimes guys aren't even in the read or the progression, they happen to just pop open. Like so many things happen where, again, I'm always trying to make my best decision. I don't feel any different over here than I do down here in the red zone. I'm always confident, and I always just try and make the best play for our team.
Did you throw 2 or 1 in this last game? Touchdowns in the red zone. The Rashid one that they didn't.
That's another one that everyone took a picture. They're like, his knee is in. I thought he was in. I was talking trash to Barry Ball. I was like, he was in. He's like, no, he's not. But I thought it was another one, but that's all right.
Derek, I think maybe
that was not a critique on officiating. I don't want to let her.
I think maybe people who aren't super familiar with the Saints maybe see Rashid as the undrafted guy, didn't get a lot of targets last year, as kind of the gadget guy, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. Just in your experience with him, what's been, I guess, your impression of him, just like his sophistication as a receiver?
Yeah. I think the world of him. I think he's a very smart player. He can run all the routes. He can block. You can hand it to him like we did last week, and he can get positive plays there. You see his awareness. Coach telling him to get in, stay in bounds. He didn't try and cut up and maybe get pushed out of bounds. He just got his 5 yards and got down, made sure the clock was running. Like, you see the football savviness from him on both sides. He understands the game, and God blessed him with some things that other people just don't have. And I like to tease him that I'll race him all the time, but I don't know if I really want to.
I've heard a couple people say his speed is different. Like, how does, is that really evident on a football field where everybody's big and fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's only a few guys. Henry Ruggs was another one where you could feel it. Zay Jones is another guy where you can, when you see him next to him, he's a guy. Tyreek Hill, obviously, seeing him all those years in Kansas City. Rashid's one of those guys that when he's running on the field, it was like when I played at Oregon and DeAnthony Thomas came running by for like an 80-yard touchdown. I was like, yeah, that's different. You can just feel it. And he's one of those guys when he takes off, it's just a different gear that a lot of guys just don't have.
Yeah, I noticed the ball from that touchdown pass ended up in the stands. Were you able to get it back?
No, I didn't want that one.
You didn't
no,
want that?
I didn't want that one. There's only one football I want. That's why when I threw the ball, hopefully I didn't get in trouble, but threw the ball in the stands. There's only one ball I want, and it's none of those yet. So I'll let you know when that time comes.
Derek, your pocket awareness, ability to climb the pocket, feel the rush, how much of that is innate, intuitive? How much is it a fundamental you could work on, or is it? And have you gotten a lot better at that over your experience?
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten better at it. You get a good feel for especially everyone has a rush plan for a quarterback. So once you start feeling how people want to rush you because you escape certain ways and things like that, you can kind of get a feel where they're putting their bodies, what games they like to run. I mean, there's a lot of experience that goes into that too. But I feel like it's just something, because you're never looking down, it's always a feel. You see the front, you make the call, then you're reading the defense. And then you have to feel after that as you're looking downfield. And sometimes someone's coming free, you're going to have to buy a little time for the next progression to show up. There's different things. I mean, you look at, Pat Mahomes is one of the best at it. Brady was one of the best in a different way, at sitting in the pocket and doing his presence. And Aaron's another guy who I love watching, and moving the pocket and different things. And so making plays out on the perimeter. So there's different ways to do it. And for me, it's something I worked hard at. I used to just be a statue. I'd just stand there, I'm just seeing. And I tried to get better at moving. Then I tried to get better at making plays outside the pocket, completions on third downs and red zone stuff. So I've always been trying to grow and learn from other guys for sure.
The play where you found Chris for the 40-yard game where you kind of climbed the pocket and that broke up, was that a play designed to go to him, or did it just pop open?
He was within the progression, but it was late in the progression.
Right.
And so that's another one where you saw my arm, I was about to come off, they passed it off, and then I stepped up, and there he was. And so, that was another one where, the pocket presence, there's going to be times where someone's going to be free, I'm just going to have to run. There's other times where you just got to hang out in there, and wait for a certain route.
Derek, how important is getting a run game going for you as a quarterback to try and get that passing game in, especially on third downs, and how important is your run game success going forward?
Yeah, it's vital to take us where we want to go, and so all of our guys know how important it is and know how much it can help us. There's things that we did well in the game. There's things we want to correct for sure. But my job in that is making sure we're ID'd right. We're running good plays and good looks, and when they need me to check something, I'm checking the right thing and all those things. And so I try and do my part. Everyone's trying to do their part to make sure that we're on it. But if we want to go where we want to go, that's going to be a big part of it.
Derek, a big conversation that came out of Week 1 game was protection. You get to see the work going into that every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your confidence level that will continue to take steps forward with game reps?
Oh, I'm very confident. Yeah, that happens a lot in Week 1 too. It's live bullets, a lot of new games, especially that front. That front is amazing. We got another really good front here. So my mindset has always, Coach Gruden always told me, he is like, look, I don't care whatever happens in front of you. Relatively, you just try and find a way, your best way to try and move the ball down the field. And sometimes he would help me. Sometimes I understand there's nothing you can do, but just keep that mindset and that mentality that you're always going to try and move the ball no matter what happens. But my mindset, no matter what, if I get hit, don't get hit, whatever, I'm just playing football, and I'm always just trying to move the ball. And I try and keep that mindset to where I don't even care. It's going great. It's not. That's okay, but my confidence level is always high in our guys, especially with the talent we have in that room and the things I've seen them do all offseason. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks,
yeah, thank you.